don't
No,
think so
yeah.
at this time, but I still have to verify the titles on anything that we will be looking to auction off with the assessor's office.
So my reason was saying anything was if some of that stuff needed to get over to the DA's office, so we could get that cleaned up out back, that's where I was going with that.
And then as far as, anything else, I mean, I received an email, from the county manager, and, the acting fire, I guess it's the acting
Yeah.
fire chief, about the possibility of some fire equipment,
Right.
for the auction, but, so far they haven't approached me with what pieces of equipment that would be, and so titles there again.
Yeah.
Should be at the assessor's office,
Okay,
but the last time we held an auction, 2 or 3 years ago, there was some ambulances and fire trucks, things like that, and we had to hunt down the titles. They ended up being out at the EOC when they should have been at the assessor's office, but, so,
okay,
till we get that, to that point, I don't know.
all right, thank you.
Thank you, Martin. Appreciate it. We'll move to item 2, discussion possible action approval of minutes from November 16, 2022 Road Commission meeting. All look for motion to approve, there's no corrections.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Get a second?
Second.
Ian, we'll go. Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Pass unanimous. All right, 9:30, right on time, High Desert Trailblazers, discussion for possible action, approval of a letter of support to the High Desert Trailblazers for a grant sponsored by the Tour and Rec Board to identify certain trails and install confidence markers to aid in helping bolster the local economy and make it easier for trail users to navigate the trails. Terry McIntosh, High Desert Trailblazers, and we do have their letter in front of us right here. It looks pretty straightforward. So if you want to come and say a couple minutes, Terry,
Yeah.
come forward.
Yeah.
Looks pretty straightforward, but.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm gonna pass this around.
Oh, good, I was wondering. I thought, where's this?
I'm Terry McIntosh, representing the High Desert Trailblazers.
What's that?
The purpose of being here this morning, as Ian said, was to seek a letter of approval or support for a project that we were approached by White Pines Tour and Rec to see if there was anything that we could do with a grant supplied by them to help bolster the economy in White Pine County. So we came up with a project that we think might serve that purpose. And what we did is we went out and identified recreational routes. We're not looking to create any new trails. These are all 2-track roads, existing 2-track roads that can be used by everyone, from hikers to mountain bikers to motorcycles, OHVs or full-size vehicles, and horseback. And what we did is we started with Ward Mountain, and we went out and GPS this and pinpointed spots to put confidence markers, and all these markers are for. It's not designating a trail. It's just for the purpose of people that are unfamiliar with the area, tourists and whatnot. They can feel comfortable going out, getting on these trails, completing the trail without getting disoriented or lost or whatnot. And each one of these markers basically will be, I don't know, you guys probably know, you go out across the valley here, and you think you're on the right trail, and there's 100 offshoot roads. That can get very confusing. So we're going to put Carsonite markers so that they can follow this trail. And we did one on Ward Mountain, which starts, both of these routes will start at the Silver Sage Travel Center. And the Ward Mountain Trail goes on the new cutoff trail, or connector trail. You familiar water tank, and then goes up to the connector trail, to Ski Hill Road, over to Murray Summit Campground, and then down to the Lion Springs Upper Terrace Road, and does the Upper Terrace, comes out at the Ward Mine District to K Valley Road, and then back to town via the part of it on K Valley and the Pole Line Road, and then back into town. The Taylor Loop, that starts at the same place. It goes out to the game reserve, and then over and hits the Cave Lake Highway, and then it goes along the bench out to, you know, where Cooper's Wash is, and the Taylor Mine. It goes out there, and there will be a loop that cuts off at Cooper's Wash, goes over into Cooper Canyon, or you can go to Taylor Mine over to Cooper Canyon. And then from there, you come over the summit, up to Cave Mountain, down to Cave Lake, and then back down and connect on the road back to town via the highway to Cave Lake. And so far, we have full cooperation with the U.S. Forest Service, plus in-kind contribution in the way of materials. And NDOW, we've had a meeting with them. That's ongoing. They want to look at it. They don't see a problem with it at this time, but we're seeking an official letter of approval from them. They just want to look at it a little closer. The reservation, they don't see a problem with it. We'll be seeking a letter from them confirming. BLM, it's getting more positive each time we have a meeting with them. I think you
Show
all
them
know
our
what that
letter.
process is. They're kind of a tough nut to crack sometimes. State parks, we're pending a meeting with them. The city council will be approaching them in January for a letter of support. Other than that, I think that pretty much sums it up. But again, we're not designated a trail or looking to make new trails. These are all existing two-track roads. We're just want to put confidence markers out there to make it easier for people to find their way around. And this was, again, we were approached with a grant from Touring Rec to see if we could do anything to help bolster the economy and keep the people in town and enjoy these trails.
Thank you, Terry. Does anyone have any questions?
Yeah, I just wanted to make a comment. Honestly, you guys are a great group, and it's obvious that you've done a great job with this. And you answered the questions that I have. I was concerned about the federal and state entities, and you've already taken care of that. Please keep us in the loop, and I would like to make a motion then to go ahead and approve
Could I
this.
I'd like
add
to
one
ask
more
one
thing?
question. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I forgot the future map.
The future map?
Yeah, our future. If you turn to that one, it's got the dates on there. Once we get this southern end,
Okay, maybe we can get copies enough of this too. Okay,
the southern end, which is Ward Mountain and Taylor, we're looking to go over into Duck Creek Basin, which already has the Ranger Trail. Forest Service is pretty sure they're getting funding to continue out and rebuild the North Ranger Trail out past Indian Creek and down through Snowbank into Spring Valley. And that would make a loop over in Spring Valley, back over Kalamazoo. And all of these will be connected at some point in time. And then cross over Steptoe Valley over into the Telegraph Peak area, and then over into Butte Valley, back down towards the prison, and eventually connect into the Egan Crest project that the BLM is working on.
great. All right, there's
Thank you,
a
Terry.
motion.
There's a motion. Do we have a second?
What size are these markers? And
They're the same, they'll be the same thing, you know, that the Forest Service and BLM puts out there. They're about this high and they're about 3.5 inches wide. They're fiberglass.
Just like a highway marker.
It's carcinite markers
Yeah.
is what they are.
And how much money did the Turner Act appropriate for you?
They offered us $7,000 with a 25% in-kind contribution from us.
And how does that do as far as your cost and out of your out of
Well,
pocket or whatever?
All of this will be out of pocket from our club
Oh, okay.
until we finish the project, then we will be reimbursed by the Turner Rec.
And the last thing I'll ask the DA, are these signs protected? If you destroy the sign, you can be fined up to X amount of dollars? Or do we have to make a resolution to protect those signs?
Well, we'll have to look into that.
Okay.
And,
That's a good thought,
Yeah, I do wanna protect the work that you've done
yeah.
and let anybody know that if they go out there and destroy those, they're gonna be responsible for,
Yeah.
and possibly whatever James can come up with.
Yeah, we're responsible for the stickers, and we're getting the permission from the Forest Service. And, well, all of these entities that I mentioned, of what kind of stickers that they would allow us to put on there. And then we'll be responsible for the maintenance.
Well, I just wanna protect your investment, and so maybe the
Yeah,
DA's
I
office or
understand,
something.
I appreciate that.
Okay,
Absolutely. Is that a second?
yes.
All right.
Did somebody, you make a motion?
I
Yeah,
did.
Okay, I'll second, I just made a comment.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Pass unanimous. Thank you, Terry.
Okay, thank you.
You can sign right here.
Great. Did you get a copy of this?
I didn't.
Did you get the other one?
I think they're all different.
They are
Just wanted to
different.
pass them out.
I would like, yeah, I was gonna say, I would like a copy of
If you want to
that.
scan it and email it, would be great.
Yeah. Terry. That's awesome.
All right, I'm gonna jump to Mike's items, just since he's under weather and on Zoom and get his stuff knocked out. Mike, can you hear us all right?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, we'll start with item A, discuss possible action to reappoint Mr. Darren Coons as Public Health Officer for a 2-year term per NRS 439 beginning January 1st, 2023. Mike?
Thank you. So, I've had some meetings with Mr. Coons and the DA's office, and we've sketched out the basic of the 2-year term at $1,000 a month for his service to the county. There is provision in there that lets the Board of Public Health, which is you guys, decide if to declare a public health emergency is beyond your discretion. And in that event, if he is doing more work to help educate, combat, and stop the spread of infectious diseases, you can expand his monthly stipend to $2,500, and then you can end it at any time. So you have a little more control over the situation than we did over the last contract. And this is a significant reduction. It's $1,000 basically just covered him for his time to keep up on vaccinations, infectious diseases, and to show up quarterly, advise the board what was going on, make recommendations to the board for it to adopt any regulations it needs to. It would be a really good idea to have, the NRS requires us to have a public health officer, local public health officer. So I think this is a reasonable sum to enter into this contract, and I would ask the board to consider it.
Thanks, Mike. Yeah, I'll be a no vote, nothing against Darren, just me, our politics are 180 degrees from one another, and that's just where I'm at.
I just want to make a quick clarification if I could. At the last meeting, there was a request that we include the ability for the county manager to terminate this agreement at any time. I did some research on that. There's an AG's opinion. It's an old AG's opinion, but it is there from the 50s, and basically it says that this is a 2-year appointment. If there's any activity that's beyond that would cause a legal problem or would be beyond the scope of the duties of the person, then we can terminate the agreement for that reason, but you cannot, in that AG's opinion, basically they had what appeared to be a non-physician. And it was actually from White Pine County. They hired a physician at the hospital and they wanted to just appoint him, and they couldn't do that because he was more qualified, is what the feeling I got from them. They didn't go into super great detail, but basically the AG's office said you cannot do that as a 2-year appointment. You can reappoint somebody at the end, or if there's like a for cause kind of reason, you can